apart from that, I also finished another game on Switch, which was one that has been on the back burner for a while, and it's one that I would always dip into, sort of like chip away at, and that was Dark Souls Remastered. So I finally beat that, and like the sense of relief and like the weight off my shoulders is just like, it feels good that it's done, because that is a difficult game. And I know it's renowned to being difficult. And I definitely struggled with quite a few bits of it, and I'm not the sort of person that likes to like grind in games, so like there's that argument where like if something is tricky, you go and like grind and level up your character to make something easier. It's like, I'm not particularly interested in doing that. I did have to do it a couple of times because I would never have progressed otherwise, but just even getting to the last boss and him just beating me down so easily again and again, I'm just thinking, I'm never ever going to beat this, but keeping like persevering. There's like the way Dark Souls works is like the bonfires are sort of like your safe place. That's like a checkpoint really, and the final boss is always having to like, you have to effectively run through part of the level to get to, and you can obviously stop and fight all our enemies while you're there, but I was just like making a beeline straight for the final boss every time. So it's like, it wasn't just a case of, oh, let's just repeat the boss. It's like, oh, I have to go through this journey again. It's probably takes a good couple of minutes to make it from the bonfire to the last boss, and it's like, it's not letting you get into that rhythm of being able to do it, and like you make it that distance, into it, and then it maybe beats you within like 5 seconds. So it's a game that I found very frustrating, and it's not one I don't think I'll ever play it again, but the feeling of satisfaction when I did manage to beat that last boss was like, it kind of made it all worth it. Even though I didn't feel like the game was as strong the further it progressed. Like initially when I first got it, it was something I hadn't really played before, and I was coming off Bayonetta 2, which for me was just like a bit button mashy and it was repetitive, and was getting really bored of it. So like the different sort of like fighting style of this here, and being able to like pick the character, kind of build the character that you sort of want to make, it was just so different and more, I felt it was more strategic in the way you fight the enemies, and I just like loved that sort of sense of discovery of, right, this is what I have to do to beat this enemy, and this is the sort of strategy I need to take, dodge at this time, or like block here, and you'd learn the way the enemies attacked, and it all felt really good. And then like the world was sort of like all interconnected, so you'd go through a bit and it'd be really challenging, and you'd maybe have to repeat it a few times, and you'd go somewhere else, and you'd get to somewhere you hadn't been to before, brilliant, and then you'd find that it sort of like curls back around to where you were originally, and it's just like you open up a gate, and it all felt really good. But I did lose a wee bit of that magic the more I got on, and like the latter stage of it, like the enemy designs and like the world itself it just became less appealing. But yeah, like I say, I'm glad it's done. And even though like I did sort of mention there about the being able to build your character, in a way I sort of wonder how that like affects the balance of the game, because I think of something like Sekiro, which I would maybe be interested in getting on PS4 at some point. Everybody is going to be playing as that character, and the way it is designed, you just and you'll level up. You don't have like all these different types of weapons that you can build, or you won't have like a particular focus on magic, for example, or whatever. So the game will probably be more, I would imagine it would be better designed because it has that aspect in mind, whereas obviously this has to take into account, oh well, a magic character is going to have to be able to take on this boss, or somebody that does like melee, which was my general stance. Like I prefer sort of like fast movement. So yeah, overall it's probably like a really frustrating experience mixed with satisfaction as well. And I would recommend it because it gave me something that I've never really had before, I think. But yeah, like I say, never again.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.